Hi, I'm Attorney Jo Christine Salera, or you may call me Attorney K, and I will be your special lecturer for the PhilGov class, or Philippine Government and Politics, a 3-unit major subject of the Consular Affairs and Diplomatic Program of the De La Salle College of St. Benilde School of Multidisciplinary Studies. So this program, or course specifically, introduces you to the basic principles, concepts, structures, institutions, and processes of Philippine politics and government. It also provides you with the political dynamics, showing how each branch of the government and other stakeholders interact with each other. And in line with this, different theoretical principles are also explained to discuss the factors shaping the nature and dynamics of Philippine politics. It will give attention to the various issues and concerns that challenge Philippine democratic institutions and processes, with emphasis on present developments and those after the 1986 Philippine EDSA revolution. Now we share the course objectives. And what would those be? Broken down in 3 parts: knowledge, skills, and values. So for knowledge, you are expected to critically understand key concepts in the study of politics in order to generate a coherent, rigorous, and substantive analysis of contemporary political life. And then also, you're expected to become familiar with the organization, powers, and functions of the different Philippine political institutions, interbranch relations, and external groups that influence the nature and dynamics of Philippine politics, and become acquainted with the historical developments of the Philippine political system to grasp the roots of the current social, economic, and political problems or issues and public policies. Now, as for the skills, you are expected to learn and apply the various approaches in explaining Philippine politics and governance, and also learn tools to study and critique the Philippine state, its constitution, governance, cultures, and realities, allowing you to formulate your own perspective and responses to the pressing issues of the times, and also develop and demonstrate analytical, interpretative, written, and oral communication skills through oral discourse and writing reviews, reflection, and reaction papers. As for the values, you are expected to become actively involved in communal and political life and become aware of your important role in nation building as a committed member of the Philippine society through the study of Philippine government and constitution, and enhance your sense of responsibility as citizens of the country and as a future leader through the values of excellence, integrity, professionalism, teamwork, commitment, transparency, accountability, and social responsibility. I am Attorney K, a mother of 5. I'm a busy woman, but at the same time, I am fully employed with Manila Water Company, the provider of water and used water services in the E-Zone of Metro Manila. So I am employed there as the Regulatory Affairs Group Director. And I am a lawyer by profession, so I do handle some cases and some few consultations. Has it always been a dream for me to be a lawyer? Yes. I grew up actually really wanting to become a lawyer. So as early as I was in grade school, do you know the thing when you're asked what you want to become in the future, then my answer would be lawyer. And that is because my grandfather, who unfortunately passed away before I was born, and my mother was actually pregnant at the time of me, was a lawyer. So when I was born, somehow they always tell me, no, not when I was a baby still, but like when I was growing up, people would tell me, oh, you're the grandchild of Attorney Adolfo Salera. So I've always thought that, Attorney Adolfo Salera, probably cool to become a lawyer someday. And so I had it in my mind and in my heart that someday I'm going to be a lawyer. Although I must be honest, I also thought and considered wanting to be a doctor. But then my parents then told me it's much more expensive and the way to finish it is actually a lot longer because you have to take a lot of specializations and stuff. So yeah, I opted to have the becoming a lawyer route as my dream. And if you're considering becoming a lawyer too someday, I would say yes, go for it, because it is something that you would really enjoy. Now, that's if you're a nerd like me, honestly, because you need to really invest a lot of time studying and really go into saying goodbye to social life for a while. And all you'd have to do is read on cases, memorize codal provisions, and yeah, forget about partying first or anything else that normal people in your generation are doing, because taking up law will really need all your focus and attention. But I must also tell that I became a lawyer while I was already having children. So I have 2 children before entering law school, and then while there I had 2 more. So I had 4 kids while in law school. And was it hard? Very hard. But like I said, it's a dream for me to achieve. So nothing is stopping me, even if at the time some people really close to me are somehow not encouraging me to anymore pursue it and just take care of my children and just be doing other things, because I've already finished college anyway, and that might be enough for them. So for my undergrad, by the way, it's BS Tourism from the University of the Philippines in Diliman. So I had my BS Tourism, and then I proceeded to the Ateneo Law School. And thankfully, after 6 years of being in law school, because I had to take leave of absence twice, as I had to help in the campaigns for an election, then I finished law school in 6 years. And then after that, that's when I took up the bar. I had so much doubts to myself because I had very little time then reviewing for the bar. And I even considered not taking it or deferring at the time. But yes, I just pursued and continued, and thank God I was able to pass it at one take there. And then after that, after law school, I went back to the province with my children and stayed there for such time until I became an elected. So I ran for public office as provincial board member of the province of Masbate. So I was a board member from 2013 until 2015, and then I succeeded to the office of the vice governor in February of 2015, and I ran for the position of vice governor in 2016 and served as such until 2019. So what is the job of the vice governor? We'll discuss that in one of our schedules. So for now, what else do I share about? Did I enjoy being in public office? Yes, very much, especially that I was able to push on for my advocacies, and primary of which is really for economic development of my province. And I am very proud to say that during that time when we really had it in our goal to let our province be out of the poorest provinces list, because it used to be among the poorest provinces in the country, and we tried to hit the goal of removing it from that list, we were able to do it. And I'm going to share that with you also in some of the videos that I'll be uploading along with this introduction video, and hopefully that also inspires you to try to work on achieving your dreams, and especially when your dream is no longer just a dream for yourself, but also for others, and even for the greater community of people that you belong to. So I am sure that students in this class, in this Consular and Diplomatic Affairs program of this De La Salle College of St. Benilde are actually students who have it in their hearts to do something for this nation. I do believe that you have that in you, that special interest towards really helping out to make a better country for the future of this nation. And I am excited to be part of that journey with you, to encourage you, and hopefully to also inspire you that whenever you're given the chance to empower others or be that inspiration and instrument towards achieving other people's aspirations, by all means, do it. Yes. So like as I was sharing, when I was vice governor, my passion is really to let our people be out of the poorest provinces list. And how did we do that? We developed the tourism of our province. We made it an advocacy that is driven not just by the public officials or those that are the major players in government, but actually be embraced by the people or the constituency themselves, especially the youth. And I am proud that we were able to really push our constituency to helping out. And we were able to collaborate with a lot of stakeholders so that the people will embrace it as a goal for themselves, that they would help promote our province so that we will reach other people and they would be interested in visiting us, and eventually with that there would be economic development there. And so that's among my highlights of my journey as a public official, because we were able to achieve our dream of getting out of the poorest provinces list. Then again, right now, as we all know with the pandemic, the tourism industry is among the hardest hit, and I could only hope and pray that all of us who have actually encountered losses and really are going through tough times with this challenging COVID-19 situation we are in would be able to rise up. And by rising up, it would only be possible if we would actually be there, standing hand in hand with each other, and also making sure that no one will be left behind. But as we know, there's a lot of challenges that we see, and that's for this class to discuss. I'm sure you have so much to share and to say, and I am also very excited to get to know each of you. You know, this recording is it's weird because I'm talking to myself here, but I know that you would be able to see this, and hopefully though we would be able to meet each other in person someday. And yeah, I am glad to be your special lecturer. You can reach me anytime in our Big Sky platform. I am still currently navigating that, so bear with me. As a new lecturer in this institution, I promise to do my best to give you the value that you also would appreciate from a professor. But of course, I would like to hear from you. I would like to know your expectations, and I would like to help you as you try to achieve your goals and dreams in life. So what else do I share? I'm going to share with you the videos that I said are highlights of my trying to empower others. And you know, that has always been my favorite power. When I was in public office, people would ask me, what is the best power that you have as a vice governor? And my answer would always be, it's the power to empower others. And so every time I had the opportunity, or every time I'm invited to speak to people, and especially the youth, I would always take that opportunity. And in fact, that's what I did today. That's why I'm in this special barong. Yeah, this is a barong. And because I represented for an ASEAN Day event organized by an institution. And I'm glad to represent the Philippines to that. It was earlier today, and yeah, it has been great to be able to share to a community that actually values the contributions of women to society. So I was there as one of the panelists, and we had a very interesting discussion Probably one of these days we'd also be discussing on that, the issues on gender equality and those human rights that we have in our Constitution there. So probably we'll add that up as some of our special topics to this course as well. There. So meanwhile, I invite you now to watch on the video for the messages that I've delivered to various events and occasions, and most of this actually are youth events. So as youth as you are, I hope that you also get the message from there, or at least be able to use it as inspiration in your also journey to achieving your dreams and goals in life. Thank you.
From all across the nations of the world, good day. A week before, my mother would go back to work abroad. When I was a child, I would often hear her say, "I have to leave earlier out of the province because I need to work my licenses, my documents, my papers with the Professional Regulation Commission, with the Department of Labor and Employment and Services, and all those other documents that she needs to process." As a child then, I thought to myself, if only these services would be available in my province, then I would have more time to spend with my mother's vacation leave, which was a measly 20 days annually. More so, if there were only more opportunities and jobs available in my province, then maybe my mother does not have to leave to be able to help meet both ends for her family. You see, many of us here, there are things and even people that perhaps we just take for granted, thinking that these are just normal things, and we even develop a sense of entitlement over this, not knowing and not realizing that these are blessings which is not available for everyone. Coming from a province which has long been marred with the history of political violence, with my own grandfather being a collateral damage, my life as a child has not been easy. But you see, all these hardships and struggles that I went through propelled me to strive for excellence, to always do the things that I think I can excel at, and later on, become the leader that I am today. You see, to become a leader is a choice. To be a role model to others is something that we can choose for ourselves. The moment that we decide that we want other people to follow our footsteps, then we can do so. And that is actually the easier part in leadership. Because if we are leaders, we know for ourselves the goals that we want to achieve. But you know what the harder part is? The harder part in leadership is when you have to deal with other people's dreams. When you have to also dream for them and to be able to achieve that dream for them as well. Why? Because it would entail of you to have to deal with their attitudes. And having to deal with their attitudes, you have to change mindsets. You need to deal with their biases, all their prejudices, and even their lack of hope. Believe me, right now as I am in this position, I have known some group or communities back home when even that they do not have light in their villages, they did not anymore hope that light would come to them. And I am glad to work with the Global Peace Foundation, which we endeavored actually to put up lights in those villages which have no light. Now the point is, we are where we are because we chose to be here right now. And why don't you just give yourselves a round of applause for that? I believe that we are here because we're all already very empowered. But what now? I pose this challenge to you because there are those back in our homes, back in the communities that we know or we belong to, who do not even have the capacity to hope for themselves. Ours and in our shoulders belong the responsibility to make them believe that there are things that can be done, that there are things that there can be positive impact that can be done for them. Now, the province that I belong to used to be among the poorest provinces in the Philippines. It used to belong to the 20 poorest of 81 provinces. But we were able to get out of that list already. In a few years from the time that we've set our targets, just actually last year, in a span of 2 years, from our supposed 5-year target, we were able to get out of that list. And to be able to do that entailed a lot of work, a lot of collaborative efforts, not only with the government, but also, of course, with the community, with the youth convincing them that they have a voice, that they can be heard. You know what we did exactly? We tried to pursue an airline to fly our route because it used to be that there's only one. And then we empowered the youth to use their social media, to use Twitter, Facebook, to do that hashtag thing. And we caught the attention of the airline industry that we were trying to pursue. And lo and behold, just a few months ago, they've started flying our route. Yeah. And then, just a few months after that, they've opened another route. So yes, it is possible. The youth has a say, has a voice that you can be heard. Just use it right. And then now, so what now? That we were out of the poorest provinces already of my country. We are already at number 30. From the used to be 2 years before that at number 14. We took a very big leap. But do we stop dreaming already? Do we now say we are contented at where we are? This is the time we say no. Of course no. We still continue to dream. Have bigger dreams. Because if we were able to do it back then, to reach the dream that we want to be out of the poorest provinces list, then we can believe that we can also dream, if not to be the richest, but be among the richest in our country. You think that's possible? I say yes, it is possible. And so, there are so much things to do. There are so many efforts that we can continue on doing by coming up with long-term plans and strategies and taking action and making sure that the people in our community understand the vision that we want to do. So, there is so much to do. But where will it start? It will start with us, with our willingness, with our passion, being right there and making sure that everybody embrace that vision that we want everybody to try to achieve. So there are many efforts and many things that we are working on right now. We have applied to have an economic zone, among others. We are targeting a lot of investments and investors to go in, and we are capitalizing on our province's location because we are strategically located. The province of Masbate is located in the heart of the Philippines. It is the cattle capital, it is the home of the Philippine rodeo, it is Asia's only rodeo staging province, and we are very rich in marine and natural resources. By the way, I invite you to visit my province of Masbate later. I'll give you my card. If you want to go there, just book a flight, I'll be your host. Okay, is that okay? Okay. So, as I was saying, there is so much to do. And I have so much hope that in the near future, we will be able to do more and to tell the world that yes, we decided that we can, so we can. And so we did. But then, amidst all this glams and glitz also of being in politics and having that power, my favorite power is actually to empower other people. And I hope you would also take that and do that once you are, or you found yourself in a position of leadership to help empower others, to also be able to also empower the communities that you belong to. And then, feeding is painful, honestly. It entails a lot of your sacrifices. And I think that is the very essence of serving and leadership. That is to go beyond yourselves and to do things beyond your personal conveniences. And How do you cushion all those pains and hardships? You cushion it with love. Because once you love, you will know the very reason and the purpose why you are doing all of these things. And as for me, it is to give glory to the one who has placed me in this position and to the people who trusted me to be here. And so, I am committed and dedicated to lead with love and with all my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Province of Masya, Republic of the Philippines, Joe K. is an advocate for a strong, peaceful, and progressive Philippines. She serves as the current Vice Governor of the Province of Masya. I don't know, sorry if I don't pronounce well. She received her JD at the Ateneo de Manila University School of Law and Executive Education at the Harvard University Kennedy School of Government. She was awarded as an Outstanding Public Servant and People's Choice Awardee for 2016. Let's welcome Jill Christine.
Thank you so much for the very kind introduction. Excellencies, fellow global ambassadors, young leaders, good afternoon. Many years ago, I'd find myself being resourceful to find a costume in my school for its UN Day celebration. And I can vividly recall that there was a time when I was assigned the United States of America, and I was wearing something like this one that I am wearing today. Many years back then, that has become customary in my country, the Philippines. And I would like to commend the Philippines for instilling in our young, even early on, the ideals of the United Nations through the simple dress-up activity, which we do every October. And I could attest to that, it has been happening even up to now, because now that I have 4 children, Jovi, Bam, and Kevin, and me, you're listening, I prepare them for their costumes every October for that particular celebration. And it has become very meaningful for us because it is when we learn about the ideals of the UN and how it is important for multilateral and bilateral relations among countries to be able to attain the sustainable development goals that we want to achieve for the world. Now, many years fast forward, I have never imagined myself being out here, being able to speak to brilliant, amazing, passionate young people like you who are all here. Can you just give yourselves a round of applause, please? But right now, I'm here already, not anymore for the role play in my school, but in fact, in front of all of you. That just blows my mind away. In fact, I'm very nervous right now. Then, again, I'm here to already represent for my country, the Philippines. But I would like to believe that I am not here anymore just to speak for my country. Just like most of all of us, our voice can be used to be heard from all across the nations, from all across the globe. Because our voice as young leaders, we are global ambassadors, we have the capability to reach even the farthest of nations. Especially with the recent advancements in technology and social media, we can always speak up and choose to be the voice of hope for the nations. And I believe that if we would want to change the world, we have to gather our acts together, come together, be united in achieving what we want to achieve. When I was a little girl, I memorized this quote by Agustino. To become what you are and to become what you are capable of becoming is the secret to a happy life. Every living soul has different talents, different desires, different faculties, capabilities, and responsibilities. Being yourself, no one can take your place. Do the very best that you can, especially in the things that you do best, and you will know in your soul that you are the greatest success in the world. I have personally applied that to myself, and modesty aside, it has taken me to places. But what now if I became a college scholar, I became a lawyer, and now the vice governor of my province? What now does it bring me?
if I could not bring my province to the progress that I long it to be. With the grace of God, who is all-powerful, He has blessed me beyond my expectations. But do I now stop giving my best because I have achieved the dreams that I have set for myself? Do I now stop doing and dreaming? No, because there are so many other people that needs my help, that I've been an enabler of their dreams. And I believe that that is our goal as leaders. We have to enable other people's dreams to come to reality. And as the professor from the Harvard Kennedy School said, leadership is full of sacrifices. Every day, in every facet of our lives, we are confronted with so much chance to exercise leadership. However, it is hard, and so many of us would hesitate because every time there are opportunities for leadership, it would call for pains, it would call for a lot of sacrifice. Then again, I would like to believe that those of us who are here would be willing to take that extra step forward, to do something, to be able to help other people. Because sharing is what this leadership is all about. Joy can be had if we would be helping each other. We need to help each other. We need to achieve not just a great nation for ourselves, but a greater United Nations for the citizens of the world. Now,
Thank you so much.
I have more to say.
Yes, all of us.
I would like to say
Yes, the final line, huh?
we are all here for a reason. If you still haven't figured, go talk to your neighbor right now. Go talk to the people around you, because the people around here are all visionaries. Correct? We are one family under God, interconnected, interrelated, and interdependent. We must collaborate, be passionate, love with all our heart, mind, and soul. And as the good ambassador of Chile to the Philippines says, Calidad Humana. And say it with me, Calidad Humana.
Thank you.
That is from the heart for humanity. So, once again, be a leader with a heart.
The Vice Governor of the province of Masbate, I believe that this is a position in which it's not just about myself, actually. And even that, I feel that I have gotten the results which I want. It's not just leadership, it's not just about me as a leader, but in fact, it's about the people that I govern. It's about the people that I need to take to the place where I want them to be, to achieve the progress that I'd like them to have, the peace and prosperity that I'd like to achieve for each and every one. So, with that, I believe that we should, we have to translate our actions into making others also feel passionately about our particular advocacies. Because in this world, as I have been exposed to the real politics, it's not just that I'm an advocate, it is also important that I should get the majority. Just like in this halls right now, the US Congress, it's the majority that rules. And so it is important that we should have the majority to go with us in our passions, to join us in our advocacies. We must endeavor to empower, enlighten the majority, that they should also believe that the things that we would like to achieve would really happen. So my challenge to each and every one of us here is for us to go back to our places, fueled enough that we would pursue the passions that we have and be able to be contagious enough. We have to be contagious, that we are just not advocating it for our own benefit, but in fact, make others be the advocates too for these things that we want to achieve. So that being said, thank you to each and every one of us.
don't we all give ourselves a round of applause for choosing to rule here? And of course, IYLA for the chance given to us. You see, not everything is within our control. We don't get to choose a lot of things. Who among us here was able to choose which family to belong to, or which country to call home? As for me, when I was born, my family was recovering from the death of my grandfather, the patriarch and the breadwinner of our family, who was gunned down because of politics. I grew up despising politics. The country, especially the province that I belong to, the province of Masbate, was then a very poor province. There were not enough and a lot of opportunities for our people. In fact, I grew up with a mother who was an overseas Filipino worker, a nurse who worked abroad, to help meet both ends for our family. But then, all of these things in my past did not hinder me from pursuing myself to become the best version that I can be. I always try to give my best with everything that I do. I strive for excellence. I believe that leadership is about always choosing to excel at even the smallest details of the things that we do. For all of us here, I believe that we have a lot of different stories to tell. As for me, the province that I belong to right now, when I entered politics 4 years ago, together with the community, we really made a lot of plans and executed to make our province not anymore among the poorest provinces. And in a span of 2 years, we were actually able to do that. We are now no longer part of the poorest provinces of the Philippines. When it used to be, for the longest time, like 30 years of my life, it belonged to the 20 poorest provinces. But with taking action, with putting our actions to our words, we were able to do it. And it was not easy. There were so many challenges, but the important thing is, we remember that when we lead, it is not because of ourselves, but it's really because there is a higher purpose that we're doing it for. That there is a purpose that is sometimes even beyond our understanding. And the important thing is, we give it our 100% always. Because like I said earlier, leadership is also a chance. We would always be given a lot of chances, but it's up for us to actually grab that chance. And grabbing that chance would entail a lot of responsibility too. And once we take responsibility over things, that's when also doors of opportunities open for us. Like for me, I also joined this IYLA last year. And believe me, it has opened so much doors of opportunities for me. And I can't wait for what's in it also for you. I am sure that you are all destined to be the leaders that this world needs. So hold on to it, believe in yourselves, know that you can do so much to make a difference to the communities that you belong to. Believe in your heart that you can do it, execute, and let other people be empowered and be contagious to them, because that is what this leadership is about. You have to also empower other people. You have to let them take ownership of a certain vision that you think would be important for others also, not just for yourself. So let us give our best, continue to believe, because you are already a leader. Thank you. A big round of applause for deciding to be one.
25 years ago, 2 days before Christmas of 1981, a political leader, a lawyer for the masses, was gunned down. The man was my grandfather. My father, the eldest of 7 siblings, was still in college at that time. My mother was pregnant of me. 2 years after I was born, by force of necessity and circumstance, my mother has to go abroad as a nurse, work to help me both ends for our family. I grew up wanting to alleviate poverty. I believed in my heart that someday I'm going to make a difference. Someday I'm going to help my community. As my parents taught me compassion, they had reservations when it comes to public service and politics, knowing that leadership would entail a lot of pains and sacrifice. Leadership, as it is, calls of us to put ourselves out there on the line, deal with other people's behaviors, and to drive them to work with us for a common goal and a shared vision that we will achieve the general welfare. Regardless that the people that we will be working for were actually the ones that did us wrong, or that these people are actually related to them, or that they are thankless after all the hard work that we are doing for them. Why is that so? Because a leader should have a purpose higher than ourselves. As leaders, we need to deal and advance with the greater good. We should be passionate enough. We should push to achieve things beyond ourselves. You know what? The province that I have been serving now is the same province that my grandfather loved. It is poverty-stricken. Since the day that I was born, it is among the 20 poorest provinces of the Philippines. In 2015, when I became the Vice Governor of the province of Masbate, it is at number 14 among the bottom. 14th of the 81 provinces in the entire country. What did we do? Together with goal-oriented leaders of the provincial government of Masbate, and with the support of the people that we have empowered, equipped, capacitated, we are able to do something. We drove at a vision that in 5 years' time, we will make Masbate out of the poorest provinces of the Philippines. And lo and behold, 2016, or 2 years thereafter, the province of Masbate, according to the National Economic Development Authority, is out of the poorest provinces of the Philippines. We would have been happy already with it being at number 21 in a span of 2 years, when in our timetable it is 5 years. But guess what? We are at number 30. So from number 14 to 30 is quite a big leap. And that was made possible because the vision that we have set, we have made our people take ownership of it. We believe that it's not only us, the leaders of the provincial government, that can do something. We mobilized the youth. We engaged in a lot of capacity building activities. We made human resources development a priority to
tourism advocacies, partnerships, and collaborations. You've seen a while ago the video that we made that was with the Global Peace Foundation partnership. Let us give a round of applause to the Global Peace Foundation. At this point, there is still so much to do. But because of what happened as development has already come in place for the province of Masbate, the peace and order situation also greatly improved. If before we are considered as among the violent provinces due to poverty, who would know that the killer of my grandfather actually took the job to provide food for the table of his family. But today, as the peace and order situation of our province is better, investors started coming in, new establishments started opening. Just 2 weeks ago, Cebu Pacific entered and made their inaugural flight. And so many other developments coming in. So with that, I encourage you, the youth of today, you are the voice of this nation. Do something. Do something. You can do it. Thank you, and let us achieve the sustainable goals.
Thank you, Vice.
Leadership is intentional. Fellow distinguished speakers, women leaders from different countries, supportive men in the house, why don't we all just give ourselves a big round of applause for deciding to be here today? Growing up as a daughter of an overseas Filipino worker, mother, who worked abroad as a nurse to help meet both ends for our family, I grew up wanting to help alleviate poverty. I believed in my heart as a kid that someday I'm going to make a difference. Not just for myself, not just for my family, but more so for my community. When that someday would be, I didn't know. But at the time, all I know is every day, I have every day and today to help create positive impact and change for my family, for my loved ones, and for my community. As cliche as it can get, people want to change the world. But how do we change the world? We begin with ourselves. We know that. And beginning with ourselves, we have to change our behaviors. We have to deal with the inner demons that we have. Those that say, we cannot do this, we cannot pursue that big dream, or so much other limitations that we've set for ourselves, and some negative train of thoughts that we have inculcated in our minds, which if we end up listening to, we would be fearing failure before we even try. So how do we deal with our own behaviors? How do we deal with ourselves? First, we have to know our purpose. We need to know our passion. We need to understand what drives us. What is it, or why is it that we want to achieve the things that we want to achieve? As for me, it is to give glory to God, my Creator. As I go through and want to achieve my dreams in life, I would often face a lot of challenges, dilemmas, and problems. And there are people that would hurt me, give me pains. But none of that would really matter because I know I have a purpose worth fighting for. So know your purpose. Once you understand the purpose that you have, then you will be in a position where you will advance to influence other people. Because once you understand yourself, you would end up doing the best that you can, especially in the things that you do best for yourself. And once you do that, success naturally attracts people towards you because people would like to find out what is the secret to success of this person. And as there is no hard and fast rule, still doing one's best and excelling at the things that you do best will always, always matter. Now, if you have already gone to that position of leadership, I do hope that you would use it to advance the greater good. Because that is the essence of leadership. That you would advocate for the rights of others to advance the welfare of other people. Now, you have to set a vision and some strategies, some plans. Now, what is the problem really with so many leaders? There are so many leaders having great plans, strategies. The problem is execution. Because once we execute, we don't anymore just deal with our own behavior, but with other people's behaviors as well. Now, on my part, in 2015, when I became the Vice Governor of the province of Masbate, as a background, Masbate has always been among the poorest provinces of the Philippines. There are 81 provinces in our country, and sadly, since I was born until that time, Masbate has always belonged to the top 20 poorest provinces in the Philippines. In 2014, the survey says from the National Economic Development Authority of the Philippines that Masbate is number 14 from the bottom. When I became the Vice Governor, together with goal-oriented and passionate leaders who understood the vision that we want to take out Masbate from the poorest provinces of the Philippines. Within a span of 5 years, we did a lot of efforts. We made plans and programs, and lo and behold, by 2016, the National Economic Development Authority issued our survey taking us out from the 20 poorest provinces of the Philippines. We would have been happier if we would have been happy already if we were at number 21. But guess what? We were at number 30 already. From number 14 in 2014, in 2016, in just a span of 2 years, we were able to be at number 30 from the bottom. What did we do? We did a lot of awareness programs and campaigns. We did a lot of capacity building activities. We developed and focused on human resources development. And at this point, I would like to acknowledge, at the time, the governor, who is here to support, Attorney Vince Reveal. He's here right now. Let us give a round of applause. He is the governor at the time when we did all these programs, plans, and activities for the province of Masbate. So now, another advocacy that we focus on is on tourism. When we were starting to develop tourism plans and strategies for our province, the people would say, why are you doing these things for Masbate regarding tourism? We are an isolated province. There is not enough access. There is only one plane that flies to Masbate. And it's very expensive. People will not consider going to Masbate. But still, despite all the challenges we promoted, we invested in strategies, putting up tourism summits, involving everyone in the community, letting them know that they are stakeholders, that they should take ownership to the things that we want to achieve for our province. And lo and behold, 2 weeks ago, Cebu Pacific entered the province of Masbate. We had the inaugural and maiden flight of Cebu Pacific. And this, I believe, is a step forward to having tourism as a possible economic development platform for our province. All this
we will not be able to do without our people support, without them taking ownership to these things. And recently, there has been 6% increase in tourism receipts and arrivals. 200,000 new visitors visited the province of Masbate. 17 new tourism-related establishments opened in our province. And I believe that we are just at the beginning. There is so much more that we can do if we work it together with our people. And now, as I am the president of the Lady Local Legislators League of the Philippines, together with the National Executive Board, I endeavor that we will encourage, equip, and empower our fellow lady legislators all over the Philippines that in 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations can be achieved. Thank you so much.
That was the Honorable.
So there, I think that's a lot for the first day and for our introduction. I would like to hear from you also, so if you may please also introduce yourself in our next meeting. So please prepare to introduce yourself to me and to the rest of the class, and also your expectations so that I can accordingly adjust on the methods and strategies that we will be using in the class, okay? As for the topics and the content and the learning outcomes of this class, I will be uploading that in our Big Sky platform. So thank you and have a good weekend with your loved ones and families. Stay safe.